Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 202. And today, we're just gonna talk about what we're grateful for, man. And there's a few of the things that I want to hit on topic. First things first, I hope everybody's Thanksgiving was great. Um, I, for one, I gained weight, and lost more weight, but still packed on strength. So there's that. And ironically, I haven't really been doing cardio for the last like 2 weeks. So it's crazy how my body is just finding that homeostasis, you know, within like 150, 151. So anyway, man, what I'm grateful for is just to see another day. What I'm grateful for is the fact that I get to learn more, I get to explore more. And one thing, me and my girlfriend, we was having a conversation last night, and we was talking about like what we like about each other, you know. And she said like, I like the fact that you ask questions for clarity, like you don't make assumptions. You know, you strive to understand people, things, and certain, you know, in certain situations. Speaking of the devil, there she goes, you posting the TikTok. Cause we both know what we're bad at. You don't have to tell me what I'm bad at, cause I already know. Sometimes my listening skills, like they don't turn on. And that's something that I've been working on, that I've been proactive in trying to get better at. Cause it's like there's a time for fun and games, and there's a time to be serious, and it's like you can't be playful 24/7. It's not gonna happen. The one thing that did attract her to me is the fact that not only do I ask questions for clarifications, is that I'm just fun to be around, But I'm also that dude that's gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna be that dude who's gonna want the best for you, even if I'm not if I'm not even in the picture, right? I want you to be the best version of yourself for yourself. I don't care what that is. It doesn't matter to me what it is. And I'm just grateful to have people like her in my life, man. She's super understanding, and she allows me to be myself. And she gives me space when I need it, because it's like there have been times where it's like like maybe I don't have the bandwidth, for all of this. And don't get me wrong, I still love this girl to death, but it's like there's some times where I think a lot of couples they get too wrapped up into being a couple, and they forget that they're individuals. And I think that's extremely important, man. It's like, yeah, being emotionally available for your partner is key, but at the same time, it's like you have to be an individual too. Like you don't need to be wrapped up in everything that they do, or vice versa. It's like I know this one girl that I used to talk to on a friend to friend basis. She would always tell me that her dude that she's dating would always get paranoid that whenever she's going out with her girls or whatever it is, he be like, well, like you're going to see so and so, this and this and that. And she's like, what are you talking about? It's like, I literally told you I'm gonna go to all my homegirls. And I was like, well, and like, number one, he's insecure because it's like he's projecting his insecurities onto you, and it has nothing to do with you. And I think that's where a lot of people fuck up at too. Is like where they have a tendency to project their fears and their insecurities onto somebody else, and that other person has nothing to do with that. I mean, don't get me wrong, experiences make you who you are, but it's at the same time, it's like, okay, so what? You got lied to, so you got cheated on. It's like, bro, you need to work through that, because it's not the other person's responsibility to be that, for you to be that punching bag, emotional punching bag, right? because it's not fair to them. And you have to be grateful that some people are being honest with you, and they're being upfront with you too. Because that's the one thing. That's the one thing that you don't need. You don't need people lying to you. You don't need people. You don't need people, gaslighting you. You don't need people questioning your thought process, right? And a lot of people will try to gaslight you because like they've been caught in lie. And it's like, and it's like there's a difference between bullshitting with somebody and straight up lying to them. When you straight up lie to somebody, you destroy that person's trust in you, no matter what it is, right? And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. It's like, yeah, it's like you can't go around saying that shit or doing that shit because that person has feelings. That person they have emotions that come attached with that, right? And who are you to say that, oh, well, it's X, Y, and Z, yada, 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 because it's really not. It's not your place to say what they should be offended by, what they shouldn't be offended by, and it goes back to the topic of being grateful, right? Be grateful that people are showing you who they really are, because you don't want to wake up 5, 10, 15, 20 years later and be like, yo, I don't even know who the fuck this person is, but the whole entire time they've been showing you who they are. It's like the girl who dates the freshman girl who dates the senior boy in high school, and they think they're gonna be together forever, and like all he wants to do is smash. It happens, man. And it's like at the end of the day, that's unfortunate because there are people out there like that who will play with people's emotions and play on people's emotions, and the fact that they're naive. And I think a lot of times people will tell you exactly who you're dealing with, indirectly and directly. And because I've been in I've had people come to me and tell me about situations that not necessarily that they're in, but that affect them. And I'm like, well, it's like if this individual is doing X, Y, and Z, then you gotta let them crash out. Because there's no point for you to sit there and try to be that voice of reason for this individual because they don't get it. They're not gonna get it, They're not gonna get it until they're, until they hit rock bottom. However long rock bottom is, once they hit that bottom, they're gonna know. And then they're gonna be like, damn, I wish somebody would have told me. And the whole entire time, people were trying to tell you. So at the end of the day, be grateful for the people that you have around you. Be grateful for the people that make you better. Be grateful for the people that allow you to fail. Because the word fail is not a negative thing. It means first attempt at learning. And I think that's important. It's only a failure if you don't learn. If you don't heed the messages that are being told to you. I'm also a firm believer that the universe will give you the same lesson over and over and over until you learn that lesson. It's like, how many times can you get your heart broken before you realize, like, bro, it's like, or sis, like you giving your heart to the wrong individuals. How many times can you stick it, stay in a situation until you become mentally drained where you're like, yo, this isn't for me. And the whole entire time you knew it. I can probably count. I probably need more than one hand to count how many relationships shouldn't have even made it past the first date. How many people shouldn't have been married that I know personally that should have been just a casual hookup. Because there's nothing wrong with that. But don't mistake infatuation for compatibility. Those are two different things. Just because the vibes are great in the beginning, or just because things are sweet in the beginning, doesn't mean that it's gonna stay that way. It doesn't mean that it's gonna be all, all hunky dory. Like, I had a homegirl of mine back in college. She got married when we was 22, 23, and 6 months later she was divorced. I was like, yeah, You know, or it's like I had another homegirl which you know, be involved with this guy, and she never asked any questions, and 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 he smashed and dashed, and I what I told her what was going to happen literally happened. Then she didn't believe me, and I was like, "Mom, I told you. Why would I lie to you about that? I'm a dude. I know how we operate, you know." And she was telling me, "Mikey, I wish I would have listened to you, yada yada yada." It's like, yeah, it's like all you had to do is ask us 3 questions: What are we? What are we doing? And where is this going? If a man can't even answer those 3 questions, Ma, you ain't the one. You the one right now. You the one that he's trying to smash, but he's not the one that he wants to make you a lifetime partner with, man. It's like, and if your goal is to have long-term relationships, make sure that you're mentally ready for it too. Just because you want somebody around, just because somebody seems fun, doesn't mean that they're the right person for you. Sometimes, man, it's like you end up in a situation where it's like, yeah, okay, bet. But what about trauma? What about the the emotional baggage that comes with it? Are you willing to sit down with that individual, and are you willing to go through those boxes? You know, are you willing to go through those traumas, those triggers with that person? Because if that person's willing to do it with you, you should be willing to do it with them. And not every relationship is going to be, a fucking rom-com, for lack of better words. And I think that's where a lot of people get fucked up at, especially in my generation, man. It's like, I grew up in the 90s, and a lot of the music back then was all about finding love, finding the right person, and all this other shit. But you don't realize that the right person comes with scars too. You don't realize that the right person comes with a lot of traumas and triggers and their own life experiences as well. And so when you don't realize that, and you think, oh well, life is just a movie, and it's not. It's not a 90-minute flick where it's like the guy always gets the girl at the end of the fucking film. Sometimes the guy who really deserves the girl doesn't get the girl in real life. Or sometimes the girl spins the block on him, and she realizes that what she's got. But after she steps out in the streets and finds out everybody else just wants one thing from her. And it's most of the time it's usually sex. And it's like, that's what it is, man. It's like a lot of people don't realize what they have until they don't have it. And then when they want to spin the block on you, they're like, oh well, now I realize what I have, what I had, can I get it back? And it takes a while for an individual to be like, yeah, maybe not, I don't know. Because when you go through trauma like that, it's hard, and I think that it's also important that you build boundaries with yourself and have healthy boundaries. Because just because you have boundaries doesn't mean that it's healthy. There are certain people that I'm grateful for that I'm no longer friends with. And when I say grateful, you're probably thinking like, damn, like how the hell can you be grateful not to be friends with people anymore? Because they showed me who they are. Or whether it's me going to school, me chasing my goals, whether it's music, competitive bodybuilding, writing, whatever it is, right? Like, if you have people in your circle who don't believe in you, get them the fuck out. Don't sit there and try to make space for a motherfucker who just doesn't believe in your goals. Don't do that don't create space for somebody who's not grateful for your presence. And I'm not talking about the girl who texts you good morning every day, or good night every night, or whatever it is. I'm talking about somebody who says that they believe in your goals or X, Y, and Z, but they never show support. Like me, myself, personal story. I went to school on a federal grant. They paid for tuition, books. The only thing they didn't pay for at the time was room and board. They only paid for it if you lived out of state and you went to a different school. Anyway, I went to school, got a degree, finished, left school, no debt. Um, I had this one particular friend. The guy was basically jealous. That I got to go to school, you know, and got everything paid for and all that stuff, right? And mind you, this is back in the day when the university was like maybe $3,000 a year. So it was relatively cheap, you know. You know, it was if it was one of, if not the cheapest university to go to in the country at the time, but if not the cheapest, one of the cheapest, right? And mind you, I got everything paid for. I remember I was a freshman and sophomore in college. This is almost 20 years ago. Yeah, this is going on. This is what I was 20. So yeah, I was a 2008. Yeah, almost 20 years ago. Anyway, so I remember I took him down to the registrar's office, and I asked the registrar, like, "Hey man, I got a buddy of mine here. He wants to go to school. What's the process of him going to school?" You know, and like I'm taking on the financial aid, and at that time, the financial aid damn near covered everything, right? And they had all kinds of scholarships, all kinds of Pell Grants, because he was a first generation college student, so he could apply for any of those scholarships, and they would have given him that money. They would have given him enough money to the fact where if he could have books and tuition paid for and not have to worry about nothing. So I took him down there. I'm like, dog, all you gotta do is fill out these forms, and my boy, they'll literally give you the money. And he never did that. Fast forward down there 20 years, and he's still working the same job that he's working since he was in high school. And I'm like, bro, you like you talking about all this shit that I did, that you were essentially jealous of, and you never got out your own fucking way. He's like, you were jealous of everybody else. I remember when one of our classmates moved into his first apartment, and he called us, to check out the apartment and everything too. And the apartment was nice, it was a little small, but it was just him, But he was like, yeah, bro. He's like, I was like, yeah, like, dude, this is what's up. And like, he worked at the local hospital. He literally worked a block away, so that was kind of cool. He could walk to work if he wanted to. And so, but I could see the look on his dude's face, that like he was jealous, man. He's like, everybody else is moving on up, except me. But as I wrap this up, what I'm saying is that I'm grateful for the fact that people like that will show me who they are. And a lot of the times, man, I don't cut people out, bro. You cut yourself out. Like your inability to understand that it's bigger than just you. It's not the situation. It's not your friendship. It's bigger than than just what you are. And it's like, that's why, like I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, I don't really keep in contact with a lot of people that I went to high school with, because we have nothing in common. The only thing that we have in common is that we grew up together. That's not a prerequisite to be a friend with me. A lot of the people that I keep in contact with are guys I went to school with. Guys who text me back and forth and whatever it is, man. But at the end of the day, man, just be grateful for people that are in your life. Don't try to force relationships. Don't try to force anything in general, because a lot of the times, if you gotta force it, it's usually shit. Love on people who love on you. Be with people who want to see you win. Be with people who want to see you become the best version of yourself, man. Right? And don't ever dim your light to make another motherfucker shine bright. I'm gonna say that again. Don't you ever dim your light to let another motherfucker shine bright. Don't you ever dim your light to let another motherfucker shine bright. All right, y'all. This is about 20 minutes of life that y'all won't get back. Hope y'all keeping it 4 piece. Private player positive pushing. Love y'all, ghosts. And like I always say, know your worth because you're better than what you are. Peace. All right, y'all. Happy holidays.